Hello, everybody. Just loading up the Instagram there. Come on. Here we go. Hello. So today I'm going to be speaking to you about a very important subject. I know I probably say that more often than I should. I know a lot of people say that at the beginning of their videos, but it's really interesting because today I want you to think about the difference between kind of understanding something conceptually and then actually applying it. And it's fascinating because there's so many things that we kind of get academically, but the application of it in our lives, it just doesn't happen. I know that all of you watching this, regardless of whether you are on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, or any other social media, I know that you shouldn't take your phone to bed. But how many of you do? Right. So many of us do the things that that we know that we shouldn't be doing, and we carry on doing them. It just becomes habitual. So we have a kind of intellectual or an academic understanding of something, yet we're not applying it in our lives. And it's really interesting because you can know that something is good for you, yet you don't do it. I mean, I know, for example, I should be eating a ton of spinach at the moment. You know, those bags that you buy from the store? I should go through one of those a day, right? Because it's full of great vitamins, it's full of potassium, it's full of, the right kind of fiber. It's just so good for you. But do I do it? No. I know that healthy shakes are wonderful for you first thing in the morning, right? Do I do it daily? No. We all know that, meditation or mindful practice is good for us. Is that something that we're doing? Probably not, right? So what's fascinating is that we all have things that we know are good for us. And I would love it, actually. Why don't you name the things that you know are good for you that you're not doing? Right? Because there's something about that. There's something that's happening to us where we have the kind of intellectual, conceptual understanding that something is good and will be beneficial to us and we will reap rewards from it, yet we still don't do it. And there's got to be a decision that is made that pushes you over the edge to say, okay, I know that that's good for me, but now I'm going to take a firm stand and I'm actually going to integrate that thing into my life. And it can be anything, like as kids, there was a deliberate decision that was once made when you knew that you had to take over the brushing of your teeth. It was probably, forced a little bit by your parents, but I know that as I'm saying this, you remember that moment because the responsibility moved from the parents doing it for you to you then saying, okay, I've got to look after these things. So I need to make sure that I clean them and take control of that. Now, whether you floss or not, or you use an electric toothbrush or you use one of those little things that you can get, or between all of the whole bits in your teeth, whether you do that or not, that's extra. So that's kind of like maybe taking it to another level. But there will have been that time where you said, okay, I'm taking responsibility for caring for my teeth, and now I'm going to make sure that I do it properly. And it's exactly the same principle with whatever it is that you want to, or whatever habit it is that you want to adopt in your life. Until you move that academic, intellectual, conceptual understanding of something into an habitual practice, it's just knowledge that just sits there on your back, right? You're not actually doing anything with it. So it's very important to take the things that you know about and think, well, am I applying it into my life? And I would love it if you really were to reflect on that one thing alone as a result of watching this and think, yeah, I know that I'm not doing X and I should be, so I'm going to start doing it. You know, when people come to Islam, one of the things that they struggle to do, or actually whether if you're a Muslim that has started to increase your practice, or even if you're somebody of any other faith that started to increase your practice and your habits in any scenario, actually, the point that you make that decision is actually really, really fundamental to how you then go ahead and live your life. Because you've taken a stand, you've made a decision, you've said, this is important to me, and I'm going to do something about it. So you've become very, very deliberate on how you are actually going to incorporate a new practice in your life. And this applies to everything. You know, we're now towards that 2/3 of the month of January have gone. And there are people who are watching this who will have had all the best New Year resolutions. You know, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to eat better, I'm going to run every day, whatever I'm gonna, yeah. And then those habits, they lasted for maybe a week, every day they were done. And then in the second week, it was every other day. And now it's like, shh, don't talk about that thing. I don't want, I don't do it anymore. And that's not how you change your life. And that's why some individuals have the same goals year on year. That's why some individuals want to improve their lives, but they're stuck. They're stuck kind of like in that pattern. Yet we all have the understanding of what it is that we want to do. We've got our ambitions. We kind of have an idea of the direction that we want to take our life in. Yet we stay stuck. So I want to encourage you to really think about what are the few little things that you can do in your life that you already know about the practice, and then look at how you can apply them. Let me give you some examples. You know, drinking 2 liters of water a day, right? It should be something that is very, very simple for most people, but we don't do it. How do you then take that and adopt it into your life? You actually make the decision to take it seriously. As soon as you take it seriously, nothing will come in your way, right? But when you think, yeah, well, it's okay, I can just drink tea and coffee and soda and fizzy drinks and I'll be fine. Well, you won't, because your brain is going to be dehydrated. And imagine if you, or if one of your main organs is functioning from a place of dehydration and the solution is at your fingertips and yet you're not doing it. I mean, like, I don't want to give anyone a lecture, and everything that I'm sharing with you, I'm also listening to myself, because it's like, I need to hear this, because there's plenty of things where I have incredible academic understanding, but I'm not doing them. I know that. So this is not just for you, this is also for me. But when will you make that decision to start drinking 2 liters of water a day? When will you make the decision to start getting 8 hours of sleep a night and leaving your phone outside your room? When will you make the decision to start exercising? When will you make the decision to actually take some action so that you can start your own business? So that you can learn that skill that you so desperately wanted to? When will you make the decision to start looking for the right spouse for you if you're single and you've been complaining and moaning about how hard it is to get married? Now, all of these things, they're all valid, right? And there's reasons why you're not doing all of these things. I know that. You don't need to tell me what those reasons are. But what I would suggest you do need to do is ask yourself if the reason that you're using is good enough. Because if it's good enough, it's fine. Like, we can end the story and move on to something else. But chances are There is one thing that you are very knowledgeable about that you're not doing, and you know that you've got to apply something or an element of that into your life. And so I come back to what I said right at the beginning, which is, like a philosophical, conceptual understanding of something. It is easy, but the actual application, the regular practice, making that thing into a consistent habit, that's where the challenge is. And I just want you to pick one thing that you wish you were doing on a regular basis and start doing it now. That's how I started doing these videos. I knew, gosh, how many years ago? Maybe 8 years ago, I knew that making regular videos was critical to having the impact that I want to have and doing the work that I want to do. But did I start doing it 8 years ago? No. Was I full of excuses? Absolutely. And yet, a few weeks ago, I thought, let me just start with one video. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to start with one. I'll go live. I'll begin with one. And then it was 2, and then it was 3. And here we are, almost a month on, and I've been doing them pretty much every day. It's not hard to begin. It's not actually difficult to take an idea or a habit that you want to adopt in your life and actually make it into a reality for you. You need to start with day one. And day one can be today, or day one can be in 10 years' time, or in 8 years' time, like it was for me. It's all on you to make that decision. And if you make the decision to take that kind of theoretical knowledge that you've got somewhere and then take that and turn it into a reality in your life and make it part of your daily practice, that's how you see your life change. That's how everybody sees improvement in their life. That, for me, is the key to personal and professional growth. It's the application. I remember kind of a while ago thinking about how many doctors that I know and people with PhDs and really, really smart people. And yet some people who are really, really smart actually are some of the most ineffective people that I know, because their knowledge, it's just all up here, right? And yet when you see people who, let's say, have a tiny, tiny bit of knowledge, but they apply that in their lives and they actually put it into practice, they're the ones who are actually going ahead and being seen as successful. They're the ones that are getting the result because they stop talking, they just do, right? They make things into a regular practice. They are actually genuinely committed to success in their life. And for me, when you have an understanding of something and you know with your mind, body, and soul why it's the right thing for you to do, and you're not doing it, I mean, I could go as far as saying that that is a form of oppression that you are doing upon yourself. I know it's quite a heavy statement to make, but maybe it is. Maybe that is you oppressing yourself because you know what you should be doing and you're not doing it, and you stay in that cycle of beating yourself up because up here you know what you should be doing, what you should be working on, the habits that you should be adopting, but day-to-day practical life, it's not happening. And I just want you to think about that, just in the same way that I'm thinking about this, because the food for thought that I've given to you, I'm also thinking about. I'm about to go to the gym. As soon as this video is over, I made a commitment to myself, and a weekend I kind of plan out my diary. I sign up for the classes that I'm supposed to be going to, and I kind of work out what I should be getting done. Today, I'm also doing a jump rope challenge, skipping challenge, which I have to do. I usually do it in the morning, but life happens and I've got to get it done this evening. It's snowing outside. Now, I am not anybody special. right? I could easily end this live, go downstairs, make myself a nice cup of tea, and cuddle under the duvet. I mean, that sounds really nice, doesn't it, right? It probably would be very nice. But I've set myself a challenge. I know that doing the exercise, the physical activity, the movement is good, not just for my body, but it's also good for my mind. It's good for my work. It's good for my service. It's good for so many different things. And if you make a commitment to yourself, it's very important for you to follow through on that commitment. And for me, that is a form of application. Now, maybe for the exercise, it might be something easy to do for me because it's something I enjoy. Perhaps, and it's interesting that I'm sharing with you, maybe my Achilles heel actually is making sure that when I'm exercising, I'm also eating on point. And that's something that I'm actually now challenging myself to do publicly because I know about the stuff. I've trained in keto, I've got a certification, I probably know a million different things about a million different kind of eating plans, and I decided to get training in keto from the best in the world so that I could learn how to actually apply it in my life and how then to teach it to other people. Am I doing it right now? No, but that's something for me to consider. So as I'm speaking to you, please think about the area of your life where you have the academic understanding, but you don't have the application. And I'll tell you one thing, right? Look, you all know that I am a coach. You all know that I work with clients in various different things. One of the things that I'm going to say, and I believe in very, very strongly, is that we all need to have somebody in our life that is championing us and pushing us and supporting us. And for most people, that's not going to be their spouse or their brother or sister or their parent or their, whatever, or their friend. It's actually going to be somebody that is independent. And the reason why is because that independent person is going to give them a push. My coaches, I've had coaches that have made me cry. And that's not a bad thing because through those tears, through that suffering comes progress. I've also had coaches that have made me cry because I've achieved so much and I wouldn't have done it without their push. So just think about who you have in your life that can support you and that can help you to get to that next level that you're seeking. And who is it that can actually enable you to take whatever academic knowledge it is that's inside your head that you haven't applied, whatever concept that you've got inside your head that you haven't put into your life, and actually support you to integrate that and make that part of your daily habits, because that's where transformation comes from. That's where the change that you are looking for in your life is going to really, really come in. Okay, with that, I'm going to say massive thank you to everybody that has watched. Let me begin with Facebook. Massive thank you to, Ishaq and Hamza. And over on Instagram, sorry for moving the phone there. Hi to Fantastic Homes, to Muaveka, to Ahmed, Me Connections, Saida Rahman, Farazana, Nosh, nice to see you here, Bilal and Shaki, and Salagan Co, nice to see you all, and back on Facebook, Fazana Akhtar, walaikum salam, and yeah, great to see all of you. And the times for me doing these videos does fluctuate every now and then. I know this one is particularly early, so it's great to see a couple of the regulars here as well. Tomorrow I'll probably aim to be about an hour later, but like I said, I've got to go to the gym, so I thought if I wait until I do it when I come back, it's probably not going to happen because I'll be gone for at least an hour and a half. All right then. Let me know that thing that is your academic or your kind of like concept that you understand that you're going to apply in your life. And when you apply it in your life and you take some small action or you do a habit, let me know and I'll give you a shout out in one of these lives. All right then, I'll see you soon. Take care and assalamu alaikum.